Did you know that your earthquake cover can also provide fire cover benefits? We'll learn a little bit more about that today. What's up? You're watching Tito Talks non-life insurance discussions with me, your favorite Tito Miguel, who loves to make non-life insurance topics easier to understand for both agents and clients. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. TGI Fridays. I hope you guys are enjoying your long weekend. Pasensya na po, ako po ay manggugulo lang po sa inyo while you take the time off today from the busy week. So glad to have you guys on the segment today. And as promised, we are going to talk about a lot of things regarding your earthquake cover under your fire policy. And I hope you find that very interesting. And if you do like this type of content, please feel free to click like on this video and to subscribe to my channel for access to more non-life insurance topics. Seriously, please subscribe, or else Tito will tell your mama you lost her payong. Now, enough about that. Let's get into our promised content for today. Oh, and please watch till the end of the video because we are going to share with you another interesting word for the day. And we're going to show you how to pronounce it without looking like an idiot. Now, let's get into our content for today then, shall we? As we all know, the earthquake cover of your fire policy is one of three very specific and very interesting coverages that are provided individually. You've got your earthquake cover, your typhoon, and your flood. Don't worry, we're going to create separate videos for typhoon and flood as well. That'll probably be the next one I'm going to release. But for now, let's talk about what makes the earthquake cover quite interesting. Now, as you all know, earthquakes are a pretty standardized phenomenon, especially in the Philippines, especially in Japan, wherein the movement of the Earth's crust due to specific activity underneath our surface tends to create vibrations that we feel as we move about our daily business. Now, these vibrations and these earthquakes could range from magnitude to magnitude, causing all sorts of problems, all sorts of damages, all sorts of losses as well. And with that being said, it's quite popular in the Philippines for people to ask for earthquake cover, as it's one of the most common things that could destroy and completely obliterate your property. And with that being said, there are a couple of things that you may not have known about your earthquake cover. One of them is you heard that right. It's earthquake cover, but it also covers fire damage. I know, it's a little bit confusing, right? We talked a little bit about this during our fire and lightning coverage. Here's a link to that video from last time if in case you didn't catch it. Now, when you're talking about earthquakes or insurance in general per se, especially with property insurance, we practice or we pay a lot of importance to something known as the proximate cause of particular losses, of particular incidents. Now, yes, while fire and lightning insurance, fire and lightning coverages can help protect you against losses caused by fire, not all fires are covered by the fire and lightning cover. Isn't that interesting? It's in that video I showed you last time. Now, in an example that we explained before, there are certain types of fires that aren't proximately caused by fire itself or by lightning. Sometimes, fires can also be caused by earthquakes or fires resulting from earthquakes. And if you do not have an earthquake cover, losses from these types of fires are not going to be covered because the proximate cause, meaning the most influential, immediate, and uninterrupted cause, is not a fire, but an earthquake itself. I hope that makes sense to you, though. You try to pinpoint the actual cause of the fire. Would there have been a fire if there had been no earthquake? And that usually is the question that we ask ourselves, or that your insurance claimsmen will ask themselves whenever they try to investigate the cause of the fire. Had there been no earthquake, there probably wouldn't have been any fire as well, which makes the earthquake the proximate cause. And if you don't have earthquake cover, tough luck. Which makes it one of the more interesting things about the earthquake cover benefit. Now, that is embodied in one of their benefits known as the earthquake fire cover. Naturally, along with the earthquake fire, you also have the earthquake shock cover, which is the second point we're going to be talking about. Earthquake fire and earthquake shock are two separate benefits, but they do still fall under the earthquake coverage as part of the Allied Perils package. Now, it is almost impossible to only get one of the two. Every time you buy your earthquake cover, you're gonna get both of them: protection from earthquake fire and protection from earthquake shock. And if it hasn't been too obvious, earthquake shock simply refers to the damages to your property caused directly by the earthquake itself. Yung pagyayanig ng lupa po. And with that being said, when you're trying to get earthquake cover, the whole property has to be covered under both your earthquake fire and your earthquake shock coverages, which makes things a lot more convenient for you. What's interesting about this is that although you're covering the whole property from earthquake shock, not every part of your property gets your earthquake fire coverage. Examples of these are your swimming pools, your water tanks, and your large water containers. Not the containers in which you drink your water from, but any structure in your house that contains these sorts of which are designated for these sorts of purposes, like your water tank and your swimming pools. Magko-cover ka ba ng fire kung may tubig na dyan? Now, with that being said, that brings us to our final point for today, and you're gonna love this one. Not a lot of people are aware that when earthquakes occur, the aftershocks or the aftermath of the damages may not be immediately visible yet, so to speak. I mean, earthquakes could come and go, and they go on a regular basis in this country as well. Now, let's say you've got a house that underwent an earthquake but didn't seem to get that much damage externally. You did an inspection of your house, you checked everything, and everything seems fine. Tama po? But then, one day after the earthquake, dun lumabas ang kanyang kahinaan. Let's say after the earthquake, it caused degradation of the integrity of your foundational structures, your pillars, your foundations, and it wasn't immediately visible to you. One day after the earthquake, the whole house falls down because of the damages sustained from the earthquake. Now take note. The earthquake happened yesterday, but the damage showed up today. Is that still covered by the earthquake? There's no more earthquake occurring right now. Does the damage have to be on the spot, induced by the earthquake, then and there? Impuntong po iyan? Kailangan ba talaga? Not exactly. This is because earthquake incidences can be attributed to the specific incident for a maximum of 2 days. In short, 48 hours. So, if some particular damage shows up on your house or you experience losses on your property within 2 days from the incident itself, from the earthquake itself, don't worry. Those damages are still covered. They are still attributable to the earthquake itself. Now, isn't that interesting? With that being said, I do believe I also owe you guys a word for the day. I hope you like this one. This one's a little bit long though, so you're gonna have to stretch your patience with me. Misinterpretation. Which is a very, very interesting topic when it comes to insurance, especially when you're getting a new policy out. Misinterpretation refers to someone giving inaccurate statements of facts, giving inaccurate accounts. Or in short, it's another fancier term for lying. Which isn't actually something that you want to do, especially with an insurance company that's willing to trust you and take your word for it when you make certain declarations about your house. You can make misinterpretations about the value of your house. You can make misinterpretations of the certain specifics of your house, measurements and whatnot. And when this sort of thing happens, you can end up with problems pag nagke-claim na po. So, let's put in the schwas, let's put in the proper intonations, and say this with me. Misinterpretation. Take note, on the last syllable, I did not make any Y sounds, which is what most people do. Misinterpretation. Misinterpretation. It's like you're connecting the SH sound of the TIO right directly to the end sound at the end of the word. Give it a try for Tito. One more time. Misinterpretation. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson though. And if you do like this type of content, or you're looking for particular topics for which Tito has to talk about, or you'd like for Tito to talk about, please send me an email, send me a comment, leave me a comment on this page. What did you think of this episode today? What topics would you like for Tito to discuss next time? I would love to hear from you. And until then, this is your favorite Tito Miguel saying, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.